The stupid and dishonest idea of raising the Social Security retirement age is back. And this my man sent me via the centralmaine.com, but it's actually written on the Wall Street or the Los Angeles Times. All right, Josh, would you stop talking? But no, I'm not going to stop talking about this until I get done myself. It's insanity. We got to nip this in the bud ASAP, once and for all, because it's insanity that the evildoers are pushing this. I'll share who the evildoers are, even if they come from what we call the quasi-right. I don't agree with the left, but I agree with them here. The evildoers are up to no good, and we got pushback. We got to get the right wing, the populist right, to take over, to make the Republican Party populist. And we're not going to do it but see, the evildoers got so much money, dudes. It's crazy that they'll buy out, friggin' what they call, what's that guy, Crenshaw? Eye Patch McCain. They'll buy out Lindsey Graham. They'll buy out, who else? Joe Scarborough, because he used to be a right-wing politician. They'll buy out, John Kasich, perfect example. They'll buy that guy. Oh. But my dad was a postal worker. Yeah, freaking clown. All right. The people who are in the front of pushing Social Security reform by cutting benefits have gotten pretty good at hiding their intentions lately. Yep. The latest reform package is offered by the Committee for a Responsible Federal Government. Who is the CRFB? Oh, it's a Washington think tank that was heavily funded by Pete Peterson, the late hedge fund manager. Who is Pete Peterson? Oh, here he is, Peter George Peterson. There he is. He was the United States Secretary of Commerce under Richard Nixon. Before serving as the Secretary of Commerce, he was a CEO of something called Bell and Howell. I don't know what that is. Former manufacturer of cameras, lenses, and motion picture machinery. All right. From 1973, he was chairman of Lehman Brothers. So he went from, look at this dude. He went from being the CEO of some in Wheeling, Illinois company, making manufactured cameras. It's just some pedestrian, probably a great company. You know what I'm saying? Good old-fashioned U.S. manufacturing company. He went from the CEO of that to the Secretary of Commerce. And then when he left there, he became the chairman of Lehman Brothers. What, Lehman Brothers? What? Oh, yeah, Lehman Brothers. Friggin' scumbags. For bankruptcy in 2008. No worries, though, because he got paid. Later in 1985, he founded Blackstone Group and served as a chairman. Oh, the same year, he became chairman of the CFR. The Rockefellers. Oh, this is so funny. He held that position until 2007. And he was ranked as the 149th richest guy in Forbes. Yeah. He's dedicated to promoting fiscal austerity. Yeah, right on, dude. Come on. This guy's a clown. We all know this. He's a clown. Up to no good, this guy. I can't believe this. So he's chairman of this company, Bell and Howell. And then in 1969, he was invited by philanthropist John D. Rockefeller III to chair a commission on foundations. Look, dude, these guys, they're the mark of the beast, man. 100%. He goes, look, you're an ambitious guy. You're not really doing much in Wheeling, Illinois, where the hell you are. We want you to be rich beyond your wildest dreams. Because these guys are all pure evil. CFR, pure evil. And all of a sudden, he joins the CFR and his friggin' stamp just goes. And now he's in perpetual torment. Because once you serve Satan, Satan doesn't serve you back. Satan says, I'll chomp you up and spit you out. Anyway, so let's keep going here. So these are the guys who are in charge of this stuff. It's the CFR. Come on, man. We can go into the Peterson Foundation selling our soul for rock and roll and many different aspects. I'm not going to do that. These guys are not. They're coming from the right-wing side. Yeah, not the right-wing side I want to be part of. Anyway, raising the retirement age is the best described. Let's see here. Hold a second. Here we go. Joseph Chamey, a former demographer for the UN, proposed in November raising the retirement age to 70 and eliminating the early retirement option. All right, that's fantastic. Revealing that whatever he may know about demographics, he knows nothing about Social Security. He asserted his proposal could save Social Security for us all. He managed to make this claim without mentioning any other proposals to shore up the program's finances, especially raising or eliminating the cap on payroll taxes. No, I don't want that either. I want a simple, across-the-board payroll tax hike, not eliminating the cap. You're not benefiting. This is exactly what FDR did not want to do. You're eliminating the cap. You're making a welfare program, dudes. I'm telling you right now. Unless you use the elimination of the cap for the rich people to get a huge Social Security benefit. If it's not, it's a complete transfer program. It's a welfare program. Right now, it's entitlement. It's entitlement. It's not a welfare program. You pay taxes into it. If you allow Bill Gates to make $50,000 a year from Social Security, all right, that's fine. But if you're limiting the cap and only allowing Bill Gates to get the max, which is about $3,500 a month, you can't. I mean, not $50,000 a year, $50,000 a month. I'm saying that is going to create a welfare program, and you can argue all day long if it's a welfare program right now. I don't care. It's not. It's an entitlement program. All right. So now let's take a look at their proposal. The evildoers. All right. They employ principles for Social Security reform. In the paper, the productive aging trope was explicitly tied to an increase in both the full retirement age and early retirement ages to 68 and 63, with further increases every year. All right. In both versions, the retirement age increases based on the assumption that older workers would continue to work, maybe until they died. All right. This implies that workers are almost duped into filing for Social Security when they'd be much happier staying on the job because we allow them to take an early retirement. I'm going to take Social Security, but you'd be happier just going, digging the ditches, keep grinding the hammer and driving the wheel. What's that song? Outfit by Drive-By Truckers. Keep driving the hammer and grinding the wheels. The evildoers writing its collective hands all over has discovered that a smaller share of older Americans work today than half a century ago. So listen, a smaller share of older Americans work today than half a century ago, even as life expectancy has risen dramatically and the nature of employment has made it easier to work till old ages. Yeah, if you're Pete Peterson. Moving paper from here's Pete Peterson. Paper over here. Woo, that's tough work. Paper, let's move the paper over here. That's tough work, Pete Peterson. All right. This is a remarkably blinkered view of America's work experience. Retiring in one's 60s is a sign of the improved quality of life available to workers compared to that of 50 years ago. It's not a sign of laziness or irresponsibility. People had to work back then. They don't have to as much anymore. As for, I got something like teeth. As for, I was just eating some, what the hell was I eating? I forgot now. What the hell was I eating? I was just eating some beef jerkies, and I need to go back to making some beef jerky. It's been a while since I've done that. All right. As for whether it's easier to work until one's 70s than it used to be, that may be true for authors of think tank papers in air-conditioned offices, perhaps not for the millions of Americans who spent their careers hauling, digging, driving, and building. Yep, outside in the elements, 100%. Underlying the proposals to raise the retirement age is a fully false notion that life expectancy is increasing for all of Americans at an inexorable rate. The reasoning, the drafters of Social Security in 1935 never expected people to live this long, so they failed to provide for the increase in the cost that would be the result. The only suitable counter move, ostensibly, is to raise the retirement age to pare back we're living too long, according to what the original drafters of Social Security would say. All right. We've explained over and over again that life expectancy is distorted. The Evildoers 2019 paper says that life expectancy has risen dramatically, but that all depends. For example, it is true life expectancy has risen dramatically by birth. By birth, yes it has, as I've told you before. Most of that increase occurred because of reductions in infant mortality. The more relevant measure is life expectancy from the age of 65, which tracks the average length of retirement and collecting of Social Security. And the picture there isn't quite as cheery. It's also one in which demographics are an important factor. For all Americans, average life expectancy at 65 has risen by about 6.6 years to about 84. That's before COVID. This increase has been the same for white workers, but for black people, the gain is just over 5 years, all right? And black men is less than 4 years. So black men are only 4 more years of life expectancy at 65 than they did when? In 1935. 4 more years. Raising the retirement age does not, as some claim, disproportionately affect lower earners or regressively cut benefits, they said. Oh, who claimed this? Exactly. The CBO and the National Academy of Sciences, to name 2 sources that documented this idea that if you raise the retirement age, it's not going to affect poor people. Okay. There's a discomforting fact that American life expectancy has not been rising inexorably. Rather, it's been dropping. The average life expectancy from birth fell to just 76 after COVID, from 79 in 2019. The fall is generally blamed on the COVID and nothing else, which suggests another decline is likely to be found once we get the numbers of 2022. But there's no wavering away the implications. Drugs and COVID and drugs, you know what I'm talking about, are inescapable features of life today, and life expectancy is dropping. Yeah, I completely agree. This just kind of show, if you're, is there any, I couldn't let me comment. I guess I could, there are no comments. Look, I probably won't hark on this too much anymore, just because this is, 3 times. Raising a Social Security age is insane. Any Republican who gets behind that is a freaking idiot, dude. There's no other way around that. Rick Scott, if he's truly saying that, and Rick Scott, Mitch, look, whatever. They're idiots. They don't, again, raise the Social Security age on people who pay, the rich hedge fund people take money from here to there, that's fine. They're pushing papers, raise the Social Security age. But for everybody else, screw you, freaking Pete Peterson Foundation and all you CFR types. You're up to no good, man. And we got our eyes on you. So you know that we got our eyes on them. You know what's going to happen, don't you? That people got their eyes on them. But probably going to be Epstein, if you know what I'm saying. Listen, I'm just curious. One second. Here's the national debt, $31 trillion and growing. My friends, if you think that's ever being paid off, you're freaking nuts. Get that out of your head. I've already talked about it. Let's see, our founder, Pete Peterson, the brilliant Pete Peterson. Look, is this happy? Let's see. He established in 2008 as a nonpartisan organization to put America on a fiscally sustainable path. I'm just curious. Did Pete Peterson donate $1 billion? I'm giving back a lot of my resources and myself to try in my very small way to give my children and grandchildren the same opportunities to share the American dream. Well, they're going to have it because they're going to get rich off your freaking largesse at the CFR when they picked you out of. Look, I don't know how it works. I don't know how the devil chooses. I guess they choose ambitious people who are willing to sell their soul for rock and roll. That's the only thing I can think. Let's. I just want to real quick here too. I was going to not ask. But here's the advisory board. Bill Bradley, clown. Barry Diller, clown. I don't know who this guy is. Institute of Medicine. The fakers, the IOM fakers when it came to, let's just call it pre-COVID jabbies. And the CDC recommended schedule for infants. They had, Robert Rubin should be in jail. Sheryl Sandberg, he's a clown. Donna Shalala is a clown. And George Shultz is another big clown who probably should. Was it George Shultz who was big on the blonde-head chick from the Blood? What was that chick's name? Who's in jail now? I forgot. I think George Shultz got suckered by him. I think he's dead now. Did he die? Got suckered by her. What was that chick's name? You know what I'm talking about. The Theranos lady. Elizabeth Holmes. I think George Soros got suckered in by Elizabeth Holmes. She's blonde. And she goes, "Oh, George, we can do it." And she's like, yes. I think Colin Powell is part of that too. Anyway, so I find it funny. He donated $1 billion. Your fiscal responsibility. I'm wondering why fiscal responsibility doesn't include getting rid of charitable deductions. Kind of weird. Let's just see real quick. Let's see what we got here. If it'll include charitable deductions. Because if you want to be fiscally responsible, I typed in that right there. I didn't come up with anything. So charitable deductions, because I guarantee you, I don't know the 550. I'm not sure what the foundation's file. I guarantee you, the Pete Peterson Foundation is not paying the income tax. Who benefits from tax expenditures? Taxes. 3 major challenges: retirement security. Who benefits from tax expenditures? Yeah. I guarantee they're going to say marginal rates and how people actually pay. The rich pay 50% of all income tax because they're so far above everybody else. It's not even close how far are they up above in income. Of course they're going to pay that much more in income tax. All right. Love your thoughts. We'll see you. These guys are clowns. Don't listen to them. Listen to your old buddy Josh. I'll put you straight.